What's up, YouTube? All right, so I'm back to make another video. This video is extremely spontaneous. It was after actually watching a flock of vultures flying over my backyard today, and I called my wife over so she can have a look. And then I just started thinking about other stuff. So the title of this video is uh, "Vulture Culture Vultures Are in El Salvador." Literally, there's vultures flying around here all the time as in the birds, but also as in people. Okay, so a culture vulture is specifically a person who doesn't necessarily pertain to that culture, but they are there to exploit it. And they come like sheep in wolf's clothing. And you have to be aware of these people. And keep in mind, these guys are everywhere. I'm talking to my Salvadoran people right now. I'm talking to the people who obviously speak English, who are Salvadorian, or who could read this and know that what I'm saying is true. And I think I already have the reputation, at least on YouTube or online, to being a person that speaks the truth with nothing held back. And I say many times that I'm able to do this because, well, I have no boss. And I pertain to no cult or group, organization, or society that can shun me or that could just, I guess, get rid of me, block me. And it took me a lot of work to get here, actually. It took me a lot of struggle, hustle, pain, toil, devastation. And so for me to be able to be here today to talk to you guys, you have to understand that it's after many, many years of trying to play the game by society's rules. And it wasn't until that I became aware of certain things that I was able to break out of it. So I've been living here in El Salvador for the past 2 years uh, with financial freedom and in the process of creating new things. So I'm in the creative process. This is why I don't make too many videos these days, but when I do, I try to keep it rather short, informative, and something that can add value to you guys because I know we're flooded with content and most of it is just a waste of time, to be honest. But it is what it is. So I want to get right to it. When I went to the Bitcoin conference, adopting Bitcoin conference last year, I listened to a few of the talks and I went home. I didn't come back for the second day. And I have to say that I consider myself a rather highly intuitive person. And over the years, my intuition has just gotten stronger. Like I can literally feel people's thoughts and emotions when they're around me. And this is the reason why I tend to not be part of any societies, cults, organizations, even though some people may say, hey, you need to get out, you need to network. Well, listen, the people who are networking are trying to get somewhere. Okay, they're trying to get to a certain place in life. Most likely, if you're networking, it's because you still need to grow a business or get somewhere financially. Or you could be networking to further your business. So there are levels to it, of course, but this is to say that the groups or the cults that you are networking with has a huge influence and impact on your life. So I'm not going to network with a bunch of people who haven't even achieved what I have at my age. I'm only going to network with people who are far more ahead in the topics that I consider important in life. Um, that's who I will network with. That's who I will spend my time with. But I went to this Adopting Bitcoin conference just out of curiosity. I just wanted to see what was actually happening in the country. And I've said this before in one of my videos. One of the talks or one of the presenters at the conference was a person, a culture vulture, a European person who had literally just come to El Salvador and bought a piece of land and was trying to build a hostel. They couldn't actually even finish it because they run out of funds and they had to, get some fundraising from other people because they couldn't finish it. And this is a group of people. Okay. I'm not comparing myself, but there's a point why I'm saying this. This is a group of European people who came to the country, bought some land with Bitcoin. Okay, that's amazing, I guess, right? It's like a miracle. It's not. It's very common. I've done it many times. I have clients that have done it many times. So they bought a property and they're trying to build it, and they need to raise more money with it, more money to build it and finish the project. Um, I was wondering what's the point? Like, where's the value here for Salvadoran people? Because the conference is called Adopting Bitcoin. So how are you actually helping people in El Salvador adopt Bitcoin with this presentation? I have no idea, but I actually wanted to talk to the guy after the meeting, and he kind of like shunned me off. He kind of just like brushed me off, and I found it really rather interesting because this guy is basically like a backpacker. He's almost homeless, and you would think they would be more humble. And I'm 36. I was 33 at 34 at the time when I actually built the house that I'm currently in myself with no outside investors. And I didn't make a big deal about it. Like, I didn't go into a conference or a presentation and talk about it. But this is what's happening right here in El Salvador. There are a group of people who have formed a cult. They have this little secret society within themselves. And they find themselves living in or around Bitcoin City, and they have their own podcasts and YouTube channels, and they're just helping each other out. And they're trying to come across as these wolves, as these sheeps in wolves' clothes. They're trying to come across as these innocent doves, like, oh, these are just nice, friendly people who are very cool, and because they're trying to learn Spanish and they're eating pupusas and they're trying to use the same lingo that we use here in El Salvador. But a lot of us see right through it. I see through it, and this is why I don't bother. I don't even associate myself or even interested to be part of these groups. Okay, because I remind you guys that there are levels to it. I'm not going to network with the people trying to get to level number 3 when I'm at level number 5. And this is not boastful or anything, but these people are in it for very selfish reasons. They're in it for themselves, and they're only pretending to try to fit in with the culture, and they like the culture, adopt the culture. But like I always say, a lot of people want the brown skin, they want the tan, but they don't want the circumstances that comes with being brown. Okay, so and I tell people here, look, there are people here who call me gringo, and I call them indio to their face, and this is it's just to get a point across. Okay, because here in El Salvador they call me gringo, but when I was in the United States, anytime I was around certain type of people, most specifically white people, they would act like if I was a foreigner or like if I was in their country. But yeah, we were born here. We were born on this continent, and their ancestors actually came here on boats and swords and Bibles. Okay, so there are culture vultures right now in El Salvador. They're working in very, very undercover forms and ways, very occult. They're trying to get by being very nice, friendly people. But El Salvador has become a place now where anyone can succeed, anyone can thrive, especially you guys. You guys are from here. You guys know the country, you know the landscape, and you know people here. You could succeed here really, really well if you applied yourself. And there are other people who see this opportunity and are coming here or have come here and want to exploit that situation. And they're not necessarily here to help you guys out. I was asked a question once by someone, and they said, "What are you doing to help the people? What are you doing to help the people here?" I find that question pretty interesting, especially when they ask you that question, in public, because these videos get posted on YouTube. But I find this to be a very interesting question when the person who's asking me is not even from here. They're asking me this question. They're not from here, and I don't know what they are doing themselves to help the people around here. And there is a Bible verse that if the best type of help or the best type of charity is when the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. And this is the way I work. I follow the law. I follow the law of God, and I follow the scripture. This is how I lead my life. This is why guys will never see me make a video of me handing $1 to a homeless person. Because the people that do this and publicize it, they're not doing it for God. They're doing it for you, for validation, to get viewers and to get people interested in them and their story, which just goes back to vanity. So I'm not here competing with anyone. I'm not here to shame anybody else who's in this country that I hear about that is having YouTube channels or podcasts or any type of content, trying to get by as if they know Salvadorians or or anything about the country. My family is from here. They left the country because of a war, and they had to reside in a country where they were highly discriminated against by all types of people, by Jewish people, by white people, mostly. It's usually them. It's never really the black people or the Hispanics who discriminate us. It's always these other people. And like what I say to even my own family and friends is that it's almost our own fault why we are caught in these situations, because we don't even see our own genius. We don't even see our own light, our own strength. And we are always looking up to these other races, these other people or religions. We always look up, as a Christian, a lot of these poor Christians in this country are always looking up to Jews as the righteous chosen people. The Latin person, the Indio, is always looking up to el gringo. They're always looking up to the white person because they believe they're smarter or wealthier. But it's actually quite the opposite. That race, that breed of people are last in the creation. The black people were the first people on the earth, and then the pigmentation, the melanin, just kind of wore off as time went on, and that's what you have today. You have culture vultures who are always going to other parts of the world apart from where they're from, and trying to influence and control the narrative of what's happening or what has happened there. None of these people, none of these culture vultures who are here in the country today are actually spending time with the indigenous people. They're not learning from them. They don't really care. They're just here to figure out what is the best way I can make a business out of this situation. And I know that I'm going to get a lot of hate, so let me eat pupusas and document it, and let me talk Spanish and talk about it, and let me, give some money to this poor lady and make a video about it. But the chosen ones that know and see the light and see the truth and just are born knowing, like myself and my wife and a few of my friends, we just see through it all. It's pretty sad though that the majority of the world are taken by it and are deceived. But I think this is the power of having free speech, of being able to talk your truth and your version of your perspective in reality. So I would love to see the culture vultures do more for the people, because this is what they claim to begin with. This is what they preach, that they are here to do all this. I don't preach any of that. I'm actually just sharing the information and knowledge that I have with my people here on these short form videos. I am working on some lands and some projects. That obviously takes time because of the bureaucratic process and systems here in the country. It takes at least 2 years to develop some land and to deploy it, and it takes a lot of capital. And there's a lot of ins and outs with that type of business, but I will get to that on different videos, because we're still working with that, and now we're working on that with two brothers, two Salvadoran brothers, good guys who live in Canada. A shout out to them. I'm not going to mention their names because they haven't given me the permission to do so, but we've had a lot of conversations. We understand the nature and the dynamic of the country that we're in right now, and we are doing this, in sort of in stealth mode. These guys have already developed land, and they're just in the process of selling out what's remaining, but we have a lot more things coming. But I needed to make this video just to make it clear, that that adopting Bitcoin conference, it's just a cult. It's just a bunch of people, European people, white people, who have come here and are trying to, get the best out of the country that they can. They're not really here to help the culture or the masses, because they don't understand the culture. They don't understand it at all. Just because they speak Spanish, go to El Tunco, get a tan, and eat some pupusas and drink some horchata, it doesn't mean that they like you. Okay, like I said, a lot of people want the tan, but they don't want the circumstances with being brown. We've had to face that. I for a living in New York City, I shoveled snow, I cleaned toilets, I cleaned apartments, offices. I did labor type of stuff, labor intensive type of work, and it seems like these superior races, is that's where they want to keep you. That's where that's they're happy seeing you stay there. But if you have a business like I do, if you're a founder of a company, or you have a really good idea, you get shunned. They ignore you. I'll share this. It's very interesting how my business partner was at the Bitcoin conference a year ago, and he's European. He's a white guy. Okay, and I have nothing against white people. My wife is white. My baby's white. But I'm only speaking facts, because that's what the mission is for me in this life. In this lifetime, my mission is to speak the truth. Jesus told us that the truth shall set you free. So this is how I set all of my brothers free, by speaking the truth. My business partner reached out to the conference people, to the Bitcoin conference people, adopting Bitcoin, to introduce me, to say, hey, this guy's working on Salva. It's a platform that's going to allow people around the world to buy properties in El Salvador using Bitcoin, and it's going to legitimize the entire marketplace so that the Salvadoran people could have access, and they could have a fair shot at getting market value for the properties without a middleman interfering and just kind of killing the whole deal. You would think that a conference called Adopting Bitcoin would say, hey, yeah, that's great. That's a great way to adopt Bitcoin in El Salvador, by having a Salvadoran guy and a European guy build a company around real estate and Bitcoin in El Salvador. But no, I was actually ignored. And then I reached out to this other guy. I won't name any names because, I don't need to. Then I reached out to this other guy who I've met, who does who helps people transfer USD to Bitcoin and back and forth and whatnot. And he also ignored me. But because they're part of the same cult. And I'll tell you the real reason why. The real reason why is this, brothers. And this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hit home with a lot of you. It's gonna bother some of you, and it's gonna hurt some of you. But you guys need to know. And I have a powerful voice, and I have to speak the truth and let you guys know, because I have no fear, and there is no one that can stop me, and there's no one that can shun me, because I speak on behalf of God. And this is the truth. White people do not want to see Latin people, Hispanic people move up the ladder in life. They want to see you putting the blocks, laying the blocks, building the homes, but they do not they do not want to work for you. They want you to work for them. So when they see someone like me, a 36-year-old young Hispanic, Latin, Salvadorian, intelligent male who's highly creative, who's already financially free, who's already doing multiple things by himself, have this idea for a platform that can revolutionize the whole country and Central America, they ignore it because they find it threatening that a Latino man, a Hispanic man, can have such a great idea that will just make everybody else irrelevant. They don't want that. They want to keep you down. So for you, my brothers and sisters out there that are a Salvadorian or Hispanic or Colombian or Latin or whatever country you're from, this is not a video I'm making to divide. This is a video I'm making for you to realize the truth of the matter in the world, that there is a perspective of who you are and what you're supposed to accomplish in life. You're not supposed to be the CEO. And if you do make it as a CEO or as a founder or as a boss or as a rich person, as a millionaire, as a success, they will treat you a totally different way because you have already reached that level of success. If you dress differently, if you dress like a poor person, if you dress in a janitor suit, they will treat you accordingly. Okay, so this is why I say to a lot of people, there is no use and there is no point in you putting yourself down. There is no point or there is no use in you not believing in yourself, because there are already plenty of people out there that don't believe in you already. There's a bunch of people out there that don't want you to succeed. I come across people all the time that don't want to see me succeed. Sometimes it's people in my own culture, but that's just what it is. And this is why I repeat, this is not a racial thing. This is not a skin color thing, but this is just to remind you guys that you have to fight for your own success and for your own liberation, for your own financial freedom, and nobody else will do it out. Nobody else will do it for you. Okay, I don't need the Adopting Bitcoin conference. I don't need to be on anyone's podcast or YouTube channel or anything else, because I am being guided by God. God is my boss. God is going to make sure that I am successful. God is going to make sure that one day I am at the heights of my potential and that I am making the biggest impact that I can make, because I rely on God. I trust God. I don't trust people. I trust God. So I don't need to rely or hope or expect anything that someone else will do for me, because I can do it for myself and God will provide. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. This is a practice I apply every single day of my life. So this is what happened to me in my life. This is my journey from being born and raised in New York City to attending a whole bunch of networking events, conferences, seminars, working with different people, different races, different types of perspectives and religions. We are looked down upon as a Latino Hispanic. We are not expected to do much in life. And this is why you must overcome the expectation. You must be better than what you are expected to be for yourself and for your own legacy. When you are down on yourself, you are not only hurting and stunting the growth of yourself, but you're stunting the growth and the evolution of your entire family and generations to come. This is why I'm not comfortable. I am not done with what I have to do. This is only the beginning. This home that I built, this is my base. This is level one. This is level one of the new chapter. Chapter one was me trying to fit in. Level one was me not understanding why people didn't like me. Level one was me wondering why the chosen people, the Jewish people in New York City, wouldn't pay my invoice or would pay me 4 months late. And many, many other reasons that it can go on and on and about. But I'm not a victim and I'm not a complainer. I'm someone who has learned from my failures and my struggle, and I have now applied different modalities and strategies in my life for me to succeed further and help other people get there as well. So life is an uphill battle until you get to the top, and then you have to maintain it. Okay, it's kind of like scarcity, lack, and prosperity. A lot of people can handle lack. A lot of people can handle poverty, but not many people can handle prosperity. And this is why a lot of people are still struggling, because there's a level to it. There's a level of responsibility. There's a level of maturity and discipline and control that you must apply for you to move on in the different levels of your life. So this video is for the culture vultures out there. If you see it, if you see the video, if one of you culture vultures see this video, understand that I see you. I won't go near you, but I see you. You're welcome here in El Salvador. You're welcome to eat all the pupusas and the horchata that you want. I hope you meet great people. I hope they treat you well. And I hope you have a spiritual revelation here and understand that we are all created equal, and that you are no better than anyone else and no other person is better than you. We are all created equal, and the only person that you should be competing with is yourself. This is why I don't need to look at any other person's channel. Many times people have come to me and said, hey, do you know this other guy, this other YouTuber, this? I say, no, I don't know. I don't care. I'm so busy that I don't have time to watch YouTube. I could probably watch 7-8 minutes of highlights of the Champions League, and that's about it. I'm either at this house, at my other house, building it, working on my online products, working on myself, with my son, with my baby. So yeah, I hope you see this, and I hope that you know that I don't need you. I don't need your invitation to your conference. I don't need to be on your podcast. I don't need your exposure, because God is greater than you, and God is with me, and I am with God, and I am one with God. So I will never need you. I will never need your platform. And this video will be a testament, and people will see and look at the date of this video and say, hey, he made this video way back then, and look at him now. And who are these other people that he's talking about? And you will never know, because I will never mention their name. Because one day my name will be known and theirs won't. Their name will never be known. And this is because of the intention and the heart that is put behind the work they do. I dedicate my work to the Lord, and this is why my thoughts are established. This is why I have no doubt and no fear about how I go on in my life. And I'm speaking to you, brothers and sisters, who are on the fence or who have doubts about yourself or your journey. But if you put God first and you put God only in your life, you don't need anyone else. If the opportunity comes to you, then fine. But you have to understand that there are a lot of people out there that don't want to see you succeed. They just want to see you clean toilets. They want you to serve their coffee, serve their food, clean their house, do their nails, build their houses. They don't want to see you become the boss. They don't want to see you become the CEO. They don't want to see you have the influence. And this is my mission in life, to be the example that you don't need any other person, no matter what race or no matter what creed or religion. You can do it all yourself by putting God first. So culture vultures, you are welcome to come here. You are welcome to eat all the food you want and to be successful, do all the business that you want to do, because here, this is a great country to build the business. But just be aware that some people see right through you, like myself. And I will be happy watching you as I pass by. So to my brothers and sisters, last but not least, I have a new house that I'll be showing you that I will be raising a fund for, that will be strictly for construction loan investors who want a high yield on their return. So stay tuned for that. That will be coming up in the next few days. I'm just kind of wrapping up things here, and I'll be in touch soon. So much love and peace.